All right, everyone. Today we will be covering lesson 11-3, and that is the total cost of labor. And that can be found on page 483. All right, so previously we had looked at the cost of, or rather the total of what an employee is going to take home. So when we're looking at an employee take-home pay, which was one of the first lessons in the book, we are looking at the salary or the hourly minus the taxes and other expenses that they might have. So you don't really consider the taxes, like you don't have to account for it. It's really not something that you really think about other than it's a punch in the gut every single week when you see it being taken out of your pay stub. But ultimately, it's not hard for you to account for those taxes and the expenses. However, today we're going to be looking at the employer and what they have to account for every single time that your paycheck goes out. So what they have to figure out for each employee is several different things. First, they have to figure out pay. So in this section, we're mostly going to be looking at hourly, and they will give you the hourly pay or the weekly pay, and then you multiply it out to whatever it's asking for. Okay. Next thing that they're going to have to account for is they're going to have to add the taxes in. So when taxes, particularly FICA taxes, which are Social Security and Medicare. So if you remember, FICA is Social Security and Medicare. So these two taxes are paid both by the employee and the employer, and you each pay an equal amount to the government. So that amount that is going into the big government pile for Social Security and Medicare is being funded by two different sources of equal amount. And if you recall, Social Security is 6.2%, Medicare is 1.45%. Okay, so again, you are paying those, but your employer is paying that as well. And other taxes that they're going to have to pay include something called FUTA and SUTA. And these are both federal and state unemployment taxes. So when people are out of work and they file for unemployment, that money comes from the government, but it has to come from somewhere first. So the people who are funding that fund is the employer. So every single time that you get paid, they are paying into unemployment tax pool, just in case that ever needs to be pulled out in the future. Other things that they might provide that's very common include insurance. So you might have to pay some of that insurance, and that's these expenses here, but they pay insurance as well. They might do life insurance, they might do health insurance, there could be a few other miscellaneous things. They might pay for your parking if you work in the city. They might pay for childcare if that's one of the perks of the job. It really just depends. So there could be some miscellaneous expenses as well. Okay, so the equation for this is not hard, but I wanted to make sure that you understood all of this together. So when you add this all together, you get the total cost of labor. Okay, so let's go ahead and skip over to Check for Understanding A. And that is Tech Power, and it pays its employees an average of $540 per week. So let's write that down. Not sure what to do with it quite yet, but $540 is what each employee is making per week. It also provides these following benefits. So it has medical insurance of $73.07. We're going to have to add these together, I'm sure. And life insurance of $2.80. Okay, and that's per week. It also has a pension plan contribution to equal 3% of all of the wages. So whatever this is added all together, let's do that first. So 540 plus 73.07 plus 280 equals 615.87. Okay. They are also going to pay a pension plan of 615.87 times 3%. Okay, I'll label that pension. They also pay FICA taxes of 7.65%. So again, we're going to take the 615.87 times 0.0765. Okay. And they also have to pay unemployment taxes of 4.7%. So we're going to have to add that as well. Sorry, this isn't looking super neat, but it'll work. Okay. Unemployment taxes of 0.047. So if I calculate this all out, this would give me 1848. This would be 4711. And 2895. So if I add all of these together, it would give me my total cost of labor. I'll do that real quick. So if all my math is correct, and I have no one to check with, but I'm assuming it is, the total cost of labor is $710.41, and that is per week. So if it asked for per year, I would have to multiply all of that out. Okay, one thing that I forgot to mention, but that is very, very important, is that these unemployment taxes are only paid, and I'll change my color here, they're only paid on the first $7,000 of each year. So they don't have to pay infinite amounts of FUTA and SUTA taxes, because that would be very expensive for the company. They just have to pay it on the first $7,000 of each year, and then after that it is tax-free. So some problems you might run into that $7,000, some problems you may not, but this is very important. $7,000 for the first, or that amount, and then after that you don't have to pay any more. The same thing, FICA taxes actually have a cap too, but it's very rare that you hit that cap. I believe, let's see if it says in your book, yes, up to $102,000 for this, and then, so $102,000 cap for this, no cap for Medicare. So if you make a lot of money, you get to kind of slow down on the taxes that you pay. All right, sorry about that. So jumping back to B, let's look at that. It says the total wage paid by Rizzo's Restaurant Supply Company for the second week of January are $10,750, or sorry, $10,350. Total benefits paid to employees are 32% of wages. What's the total cost of labor for the week? So this one is a little bit different than A, but really we're just going to take what those total wages are, and we're going to add in the benefits that they have to pay. So this is our pay, this is our benefits. They're just kind of simplifying it. Okay, so this is going to be the $10,350 times the 32%. Okay, so if we add that all together, we get a total of $13,662 in wages. So if you're an accountant for a business, or you're starting up a brand new business, you really need to understand how much you have to pay your employees. It's not just the amount of pay, but it's the other things that you're going to give them as well. Benefits allow you to market yourself a lot better to potential employees, and it's also required by law in some cases to pay employees a certain amount of money. Okay, so the second half of this is pretty easy. Not a whole lot changes, and that's just looking at part-time employees. So that's people who work less than 40 hours a week. Part-time employees don't get paid as many benefits, and so it can be beneficial for a company to have several part-time employees instead of full-time employees, so that they can save money on those benefits. But some companies have been accused of exploiting that ability. Namely, Walmart is one that sticks out in my mind, that they've been kind of known to hire a lot of part-time employees so that they don't have to pay health care. Okay, so it's not going to change much as far as the equation, so let's just go ahead and jump right into C. C says that a restaurant pays Carrie $7.90 an hour and gives her a daily $3.10 meal allowance. So that's a benefit being added into it, so we need to add those together. So $7.90 per hour plus she gets a daily, looks like we're just going to add that every day. So let's not add that in right away. Let's keep going. So it says taxes paid are the FICA tax and a 5.1 unemployment tax. What's the maximum amount the restaurant will spend for Carrie's benefits if she works 7 hours a day, 4 days a week? Okay, so let's see here. She's going to work 7 hours a day, so we're going to multiply this by 7. And then every day she's going to get that $3.10 meal allowance. Okay, so first let's calculate how much she's making per day. $7.90 per day times 7 hours. She's making $55.30. Okay, and we're really only looking at benefits, I guess. So let's kind of list those. So benefits, she's getting $3.10 for meals. Okay, and then she also gets the benefit of a FICA tax. Oddly, that's considered a benefit. So $55.30 times the FICA amount of 0.0765. Okay. Okay, and that's just daily, and she works 4 days a week, so I'm going to multiply that times 4 days. So per week, she's going to get FICA of 16.92. And then unemployment, it's going to be that $55.30 times 0.051 times 4 days per week. $11.28 unemployment. Okay, so total benefits are going to be all of those added together. $31.30. Okay. And then if we wanted to figure out total, we could just take this $55.30, multiply it times 4 days, and add that to the $31.30. But they're just asking for benefits. Okay, so let's look at D, and then I'll give you your assignment. The boot fitter shop filled a vacancy by hiring 2 part-time employees who each work 20 hours a week at a regular pay of $10.80. As a result, the shop will not have to pay any medical benefits that average 14% of the employee wages for full-time employees. For each 40-hour week, how much less will the boot fitter shop spend by hiring 2 part-time employees rather than 1 full-time? So let's compare the two. So we're gonna have part-time employees versus full-time. Okay, so this would be 2 employees. This would be 1 employee. So if we had 2 part-time employees, they're each gonna make $10.85 per hour, 20 hours a week. And they're going to have 2 employees. If they have 1 employee, they're going to get paid $10.85 times 20 hours. No, it would be times 40 hours because it would be 1 person. So we're really going to end up with the same answer between the two. So $10.85 times 20 hours times 2. So both of these would be $4.34. So in this case, we're done because they're not going to make anything. They're not going to have any benefits. So the company doesn't have to pay anything extra. Whereas on the full-time, we're going to have to add in the benefit of medical. So medical benefits are going to be $434 times 14%. So it's going to cost them an additional $60.76 to have one full-time employee versus 2 part-time employees. So it saves them quite a bit of money. Okay? All right. So pretty simple lesson. It's really not too complicated. So go ahead and solve. Let's do 7 through 14 all. Okay? All right. Good luck.